And now the most interesting thing said by Nick Caserio about any of the draft picks. What stands out to you?
I mean, it's what he didn't said as much as what he said.
Really?
So you make the Marlon Klein pick. Before that, you're talking about how awesome McDonald was. We've seen him draft Kamari last year. You talk about how awesome he was, and he's got a great story, Like, it's a good story. You didn't say anything really about how he played. I like Klein. More that I kind of thought about the Klein thing, I always liked him a little bit later, but the league seems to be overvaluing tight ends now, so I can get down with it. But I was waiting for Nick Caserio to just sell me on the pick. Didn't really happen, man. He didn't really say much.
I'm glad you brought up Kamari Lassiter because a couple of years ago they were adamant that they didn't care about how the workout went with Kamari Lassiter. They didn't care if people thought he was slow. And then Nick Caserio said the new wide receiver from Boston College was slow and then didn't really give any sort of out for the fact that he's slow. It's like, yeah, he's a good receiver and he has a lot of receptions, but maybe the workouts weren't that good. And that was it. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So there was lots of speed on the board. You drafted the guy that wasn't speedy. All right, sure.
Who did he play for again, by the way?
That'd be Bill O'Brien.
That's right. But he also said that Ben McDaniels, during the interview, I think said that Bond is one of the smartest guys he's ever talked to. So I found that interesting. I also found it interesting that they said that Keelan Rutledge has elite makeup. And, when you're talking about guys because they put guys in buckets, right?
Yeah.
So if you have elite of something, my guess is that pushes you to the top.
How about some elite speed? How about they stop being slow?
Ramsey and Fisher, you mentioned the smarts. They both had Ivy League offers in college. Fisher basically had scholarship offers to every Ivy League school, all 3 service academy schools. And then I think Ramsey had an offer. There were a couple of guys who had Ivy League offers out of high school, which maybe that's just a coincidence. I don't know.
Well, they like smart, tough, dependable.
Smart
right?
is the second talking point.
Yes, smart is always the second talking point.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't specifically something he said about one player, but more so just kind of how he was vague about using guys a certain way, their position, how they would fit into the team. To me, it sounds like same thing from last year, where it's kind of moving pieces. We'll figure it out as we go. So I want to hear from Nick Caserio saying, hey, look, this guy plays this position. He's going to play here, and that's what we're going to go forward with and make a run there.
Well, you may be waiting a long time, right? Because what is the big word they love? Versatile, versatility, and versatile.
Yep. If you can play multiple positions and you're smart, you got a shot to be a member of the Houston Texans here pretty soon.